The current political situation will have an effect on the markets near the end of this year and the beginning of next. That's why we're going to cover Trump's important message to everyone back home. Along with that, I want to make sure that you all are doing the right things to make the most of this chance that is being given to you. Click like to let everyone in the XRP army know about this. Now let's start with a few posts that Trump has made lately. I'm going to give you more information about what's going on, but first and foremost, Trump has been getting more and more aggressive in terms of world politics. We've heard him say this: the United States will spend hundreds of billions less next year thanks to reconciliation. This is going to be very interesting. I mean, Trump has been basically threatening a lot of European countries lately. Italia, China, America, I live in Canada. But anyone who isn't ready to work with him and is hurting the United States of America should be named. He is. Telling them that he will put taxes on their goods until they fix some problems. Depending on where these people are in the world, Mexico has a lot of different problems all the time. It's fentanyl and people who are in Canada illegally. Here it is again, fentanyl coming in from the north. It has everything to do with the fact that Europe buys oil and gas from Russia instead of the US. And he's basically using taxes as a way to make deals in politics. This is what he's telling many European countries. I'm going to tax you until you buy us oil instead of this other Russian oil. He's telling Canada, I'm going to tax you until you stop this fentanyl crisis from coming in. The same is true for Mexico with its illegal aliens and even to Venezuela. He is saying that the United States will go to full economic war with Venezuela if they don't return all of the illegal aliens who are committing a crap ton of crimes or house squatting, living in other people's homes, and other crazy things. I agree that he is kind of stuck in this situation and has no choice but to do what he is saying. The economy of the new United States of America will be a lot better than it is now, though, if their candidate wins. The first thing is that government spending will go down by hundreds of billions of dollars and maybe even trillions of dollars in the long run. Europe doesn't want taxes, so they'll probably buy oil from the US. This means that trade between the US and Europe will grow very quickly. For them and many other countries, it will be worth it a lot more. Also, who knows what will happen with Canada? Also, I know that Canada has a lot of oil. The US cleans up our oil. So that could also be a very important thing. At this point, it looks like Trudeau is already taking steps to stop these taxes from going into effect. In order to stop fentanyl from coming in, he said he would send a lot of helicopters and have more police along the border. That's pretty good then. I mean, Trump's words are already making things happen even before he takes office. Because he is going to be getting so much new business for the United States, the economy could get a lot better and the country's debt could go down a lot. You have to be tough with people sometimes to get them to listen, and I think he's made it very clear that he's not going to do nothing like the Biden and Harris administration did. This is great news for cryptocurrency, which we will talk about soon, but there is another thing we need to talk about: the threat of a government shutdown. The election of Trump is coming up in 1 month, which is a pretty big deal. In one of his real social posts, he says this. He says that if the government is going to shut down, it should start now, while Biden is still in office, not after January 20th, without Trump. This is Biden's job to fix, but Republicans will help if they can. It seems like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden had to go back to the White House for some reason, which many people are asking. What the heck is going on there? To sum up, I will talk more about the story as it goes on, but for now it's very interesting to see what's going on. Are a lot of people who think Harris and Biden might try to start a war to keep the government going longer? I have no idea what is going on, but a government shutdown is definitely something that shouldn't happen. Getting rid of the debt cap is another thing Trump is talking about that will have huge effects on the economy. In recent days, Trump has said something that has caused a lot of trouble. A lot of. People don't really get the debt cap. Most people think, okay, so if the US takes away the debt ceiling, they can have as much debt as they want. Which is a very bad thing? Yes. And to be honest, that's a very, beginner's method. Yes, I can see why you would say that if you don't know anything about how the debt ceiling works, but I have done a lot of study on it. And yes, I did find a list of the pros and cons of both. I also found a really long history of the debt cap in other countries that have debt ceilings. And most places in the world, like Canada, most of Europe, and a lot of other places, the government doesn't have a debt limit, and there's a good reason for that. The debt limit doesn't help, and it makes it harder to do many things besides just spending more. That being said, it's not hard to raise the debt limit anyway. Having it doesn't really help, it just adds more people to the kitchen who aren't needed to be there. That makes people more likely to be careless with money. The Federal Reserve can just say, okay, we're going to raise the ceiling again. Take a look at how much the US debt has grown since this debt limit was put in place. All of these people are being hired to make sure that the debt limit stays in place, even though it's not really doing anything. So why should you really have it? It also hurts the US's credit standing and makes it more expensive to borrow money. Having the debt cap is important. And you should look at it from a business point of view, okay? Let's say you're China and you're doing business with the US, right? You have to keep a lot of us dollars on hand. Because you trade with the US a lot, you need to hold their cash. That's what you agreed to. And the value of your dollars drops every time the US prints more money. When you look at their system, you can see that they have a debt limit. But they keep raising it. You don't really trust them anymore, right? That being said, what's the point of a debt cap if you're just going to keep printing more money and making my currency worth less so I can trade with you? It doesn't make sense. Because of this, it does bring down the US's credit rating, right? When people see that, they think, I don't trust you, these methods you have in place aren't working well and don't do anything. This does have an effect on trade with the United States of America. This is also the reason why BRICS was made. It's because of the careless handling of money, or rather, the lack of duty in handling money. The United States of America, but some people didn't agree with it. So they said, okay, we want a different system now. We're going to make BRICS and trade in our own currency. Screw the United States of America. But Trump is now talking about getting rid of the debt cap and cutting government spending. They are also saying this is against the Constitution, which is also true. A lot of people are upset about this too, because the US kind of put it into place after the Constitution and everything. The US set this debt limit around the time of World War I, but it doesn't really do anything. And, it costs the US a lot of money and hurts its image in the long run. This will lower the cost for the United States of America as a whole. There will be fewer people working on the debt, which will make it easier to pay it off. It will also help the United States serve the people better. In the end, it's a much better thing. Some of you may be wondering, Levi, you've been talking about the US economy for a long time. What does any of this have to do with XRP and cryptocurrency, guys? The answer is everything. Okay, so here's the deal. If we can cut spending by trillions of dollars, we can lower the US debt and boost trade. In the US, how is this going to help? It will be good for business in the US. We're going to talk about HBAR, XRP, and all of our other favorite US-based cryptocurrencies. This is going to help them the most, which is exactly why XRP and other cryptocurrencies are doing so well right now. And yes, I know that XRP and a lot of other cryptocurrencies just went through a big drop, but here's the deal. As things stand, the economy will be very strong and XRP will do very well in the long run if we can get these things done. So, any day that it's red, like today or maybe tomorrow, as I said, there's a good chance that we'll see a couple of red days in the next 72 hours. Those are great chances to buy. Yes, I'm going to buy today. In the event that we have another red day tomorrow, I plan to likely buy again because I am very confident that the economy will get much better. Because of what I just said in 2025. Another nice thing is that the core PCE or inflation figures came in lower than expected, which is another plus. In fact, this does prove that we are going in the right direction. I believe things will get better in the new year, so we should definitely get ready for that. Having said that, we should still look at XRP, right? Because the price is 218 right now, if we look at it. For the most part, I think we were around 236 yesterday. It's true that we went down about 8% yesterday. That's a pretty big drop in price, which is to be expected after such a big rise. That being said, we're still finding new bottoms and lows, which is